Hey there, fellow sports gamblers. It's Steel Picks for you with the 5 best NBA playoff prize picks and underdog free picks for today, April 18th. Before we get started, I would like to wish my mom a heavenly happy birthday. This would have been her 73rd today. I know she is somewhere looking down, smiling at her baby boy, doing his favorite thing, talking to people about sports and gambling, his two favorite things. So just wanted to give a shout out to Mom. Love you. Always loved all of your support. Before we get into today's picks, let's do a quick recap of what happened to us yesterday. Paulo Banchero had 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists, a half point under the 36.5 points, rebounds, and assists we said he'd go under. LaMelo Ball had 10 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists, under the 18.5 we said he'd go over. Con Kneppel had 11 points, 3 rebounds, well below the 21.5 points and rebounds we said he'd go under. Devin Booker had 15 first-half points, below the 18.5 points we said he'd go over. But his teammate Jalen Green exploded for 36 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists, well above the 36.5 points, rebounds, and assists we said he'd go over. 3 out of 5 is not terrible, but I feel an immaculate ticket on the horizon today. So let's see what we got. First up, I'm seeing Jabari Smith Jr. over 16.5 points and assists. As you can see, Jabari's been able to do this in 9 of his last 10 games. Of course, as we well know, we're in the playoffs now, and the regular season is not quite as important. But the stats are the stats. See, he had 18. He actually has gone over this in points alone in those last 5 games with 18 here, 23 against the Golden State Warriors, 20 against the Phoenix Suns, 19 against the Sixers, and his last game he had 16 and 2 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. But Jabari Smith is going to be an integral part of what the Houston Rockets are trying to do. As we know, they are playing the 4 seed, the Los Angeles Lakers, at home the first 2 games. The Lakers don't have very great defense, and they're definitely going to be very self-reliant on LeBron James, who I don't think is going to have a whole lot of success trying to hold Jabari Smith. And in addition, Rui Hachimura, defense is not really his calling card, so I definitely think that Jabari Smith is going to be able to get his points and assists for most of the game. And as we know, minutes is not going to be a big thing. There'll be no minutes restriction. Everyone is going to play as much as the situation calls for. We do see that he has been getting his shots up. 18 was his high water mark most recently against Phoenix a few games ago. Slowly declining to 15 and 12, but again, it's the playoffs. He's going to get up and do his thing. Definitely looking for him to get to the free throw line a little bit more. In his last 2 games, he's been able to get there 6 times, both times. And he's exceeded the 16 points and 5 assists in 5 straight games. So definitely looking for him to be able to do that. And in that same vein, if you want to throw rebounds in there, I think that Jabari Smith Jr. is going to go over 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Now, as far as points, rebounds, and assists, he's been able to do this in 10 straight games. Again, we are in the playoff time, but he's definitely been able to get his boards in. As you can see, the last 4 games, he's got 9 against the Golden State Warriors, 6 against the Phoenix Suns, 5 against the Philadelphia 76ers, and again, 6 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Los Angeles Lakers are not a great rebounding team. Up front, they have DeAndre Ayton, Rui Hachimura, and Braun trying to crash the boards. Definitely think that Jabari Smith, 6'10", is going to have his opportunities to take advantage of that as well. And as you can see, he's exceeded this again in 10 of his last 11 games. So definitely thinking that he's going to be able to do that again against the Los Angeles Lakers. They need all of his effort. I know that the Lakers are going to be keen on Kevin Durant, so someone else is going to have to facilitate and kind of free him up to do his thing. And I think that player for today is going to be Jabari Smith Jr. And from that same game, as we talk about the King, I think the King is going to be aggressive in his mindset going out against the Houston Rockets at home. I think that he understands that the team is on his back and they'll only go as far as he will take them. So he's going to be aggressive trying to get to the free throw line, and I think he'll be over the 4.5 free throws. As we can see, last 10 games, not really going to put too much stat into it. But as you can see, since the Luka Doncic injury, which was here against Dallas, not quite sure what happened here against Golden State. He just wasn't getting to the free throw line. But against the Phoenix Suns and his last game against Utah, which they were still trying to get the number 3 seed, he definitely was aggressive getting to the rack and getting his free throws up. So I don't think that today will be any different. I think that they understand that the sense of urgency is right now, and to drop a home game in the series against the Houston Rockets would be, I don't want to say devastating, but definitely would put them behind the 8 ball getting started. And I think they want to start with their best foot forward. LeBron James understands this and is going to be as aggressive as is humanly possible. So I definitely think that he is going to go over 4.5 free throw attempts. And as a friendly reminder, when you sign up with BETR and use my promo code WINCASH, you'll receive 2 anytime tokens worth up to $100 each. And when you sign up with Novig using my STEELEWINS promo code and spend $5, you'll get an extra $50 bonus to spend on playoff betting. So good luck with that one, everyone. And hopefully you take advantage of that so you can put some cash to good use. Next up is Cade Cunningham, under 36.5 points, rebounds, and assists against the Orlando Magic. Now, Cade Cunningham is coming back from a collapsed lung, so doesn't have a whole lot of history of stats to back up anything, particularly in the last couple of games. But as we can see before that, he was definitely not producing at that clip. You can see at the last 10 games, he was under that 9 times, only the one high water mark against Toronto, where he went for 33 and 9. But as you can see, his last games were not that favorable. 13 and 10, 14 and 7, 7 and 14. A lot of assists that game. But definitely thinking that Cade Cunningham is going to kind of ease his way back into the situation. And typically what happens in during playoff time is one team that has been in survival mode for the last 2 games, being the Orlando Magic, are playing at a higher tempo and intensity than the team that's been off for a week. Even though it is the number 1 seed in the Detroit Pistons, it's hard to kind of replicate that hunger and that sense of urgency that the Orlando Magic had to play with. So I think that they'll be playing at a slightly higher tick to start the game. I think eventually Cade Cunningham will be able to get his points and assists, but I think that he's going to be under the 36.5. I think that's a bit high for him, coming as it's going to be his first game in a little while. And as you can see, points allowed, the Orlando Magic are 13th in the league, and for assists allowed, they're actually doing pretty well. Top 10 in the league in that category. Obviously, the minutes played is not going to be a big thing because Cade is going to play as many minutes as is necessary in order for the Detroit Pistons to get the win. Is he going to be putting up a lot of shots? Hasn't really been putting up that many shots his last couple of games, and hasn't really been getting to the free throw line at all. He's basically been kind of a perimeter player. I see him easing his way back into the lineup. At some point, obviously, he's going to have to go full throttle, but I don't think it's going to be all at once. I think it's going to be a slow process, and that works to our advantage, meaning that he won't get to the over 36.5 points and assists. So I'm taking the under in this category on Cade Cunningham. And last but not least, we have Jalen Brunson, under 38.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Now, as we all know, there's a lot of pressure on the New York Knicks to get to the championship this year. It's championship or bust for the Knickerbockers, and they will only go as far as Jalen Brunson will take them. So he's definitely going to try and put the team on his back and carry them as far as he can. However, I think the 38.5 points, rebounds, and assists is a little optimistic. As we can see in his last 10 games, he has not been able to do that very consistently. He's been under 6 of those 10 games against some pretty stellar defenses. Not saying that the Atlanta Hawks are that great, but I think that Jalen Brunson is going to mostly be trying to get his other teammates involved. He may take over the scoring for a little while, but the points, rebounds, and assists, I definitely think he's going to go under. As you can see against Houston on the 31st, he was at 26. Against Chicago, he was at 28 in his last 2 games wrapping up the season. 36 against the Celtics and 34 against the Toronto Raptors. Of course, you know how I feel about regular season as opposed to the playoffs. The playoffs is a much different animal. He definitely will turn it up. I just don't think he's going to turn it up to the level of expectation that everyone else is thinking. So I think he's going to be under the 38.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So to recap, we have Jabari Smith Jr. over 16.5 points and assists. Jabari Smith Jr. over 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists. LeBron James over 4.5 free throw attempts. Cade Cunningham under 36.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Points and assists. And Jalen Brunson under 38.5 points, rebounds, and assists. That's the 5 picks I have for you today. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the Steel Picks for You channel. And good luck, everyone.